Seems like it might be a quiet night here, but I'll start to bring some stuff up here. Hey, good evening, work.
Working fifth grade in the spring of 2020. That's when they're really working on things like their fractions, which are critically important to me to be checking for those missing pieces and be
Good evening,
filling them
everyone.
in
Welcome
as
to the
students engage
Elmer
meaningfully in
session
the
here.
level curriculum.
Make sure that we do mute our microphones. We can mute you if needed, but if we have any questions, let us know here. Let's give me a second here.
White students did worse. No one got better. The only other piece of good news here, some grades got tested last year.
KCC or JAV, would you mind muting yourself if you can hear me?
Apples, but this year's scores do show some improvement from 2021.
Perfect. Thank you. Awesome. Sweet. Okay. Yeah, a little bit of a quiet evening here. A little slow start, but good evening, everyone here at the Elmer session. Hour long until our meeting at 7 p.m. My name is Daron, call signs K1DBC. This isn't a net. We won't be taking check-ins, and you don't need to be a ham radio operator to join in. So feel free to post questions into the Google Meet chat, or if you have any questions, you can also jump in via the audio. I'm sharing my screen. Hopefully you should be seeing that, and I'll bring up relevant content to what we're speaking about. So we have plenty of time this evening. If anybody has anything, let me know. And this is just a general Q&A about ham radio, STEM topics, everything that ham radio covers. So yeah, a lot to bring up and talk about, I'm sure. Let's see, somebody has connected a homemade, showing a photo here of a homemade, they probably can describe it even better than I can. They're stating here, they're searching for conducted noise with a spectrum analyzer and a homebrew mini loop antenna. So pretty interesting little project there. Looking for interference with modern day technology. Pretty cool stuff here. Again, more info on our club, W0TX.org. If you have any questions or any comments on that, don't hesitate to let me know or let us know. Website admin at W0TX.org. Any general information, W0TX at W0TX.org or contact us form. A lot of changes to the website, so always looking for any feedback on that. What else here? Plenty of things. We've had some crazy weather here in the Denver area. National Weather Service, one of not necessarily a served agency of our club, but of the hobby in general. So takes ham radio operators to provide some of the most up-to-date information that they can get. So yeah, this year just looking at normals and extremes for August, just the heat wave we've been seeing here. A lot of records and normals and And then within just the last few days, we've seen a huge amount of precipitation. So interesting stuff on that. What else? Twitter.com/NWS Boulder, I believe. National Weather Service Boulder for more up-to-date meteorological information about our area and what is going on here. Skywarn Spotter, as we've talked in the past. Weather.gov/BOU, as in Boulder, /spot_training. Let me throw all these links in the chat here that I brought up. Don't ever hesitate to jump in. This is a conversation for everyone here. Let's see, so there's those two. And then the weather. It sounds like somebody's going to jump in there. Go ahead.
So, Drone, yeah, hey, it's Mark here, KZR
Hey,
EHR.
Mark.
I'm trying to figure out how to get my name or my call sign in into the
Oh, gotcha.
window there. Anyway,
Yeah.
One thing, speaking of kind of meteorological stuff, is the propagation has been all over the place the last couple of weeks. I noticed it was really good earlier today, and now we've got a major storm coming. And anyway, just a general comment that it's been quite challenging the last couple of weeks trying to figure out what's going on there.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I don't know how does I mean, I guess line of sight, I mean, RF penetrate clouds and weather, and I mean, does that affect, does local weather underneath the ionosphere affect propagation, HF propagation, or otherwise?
I think, well, if obviously lightning does.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
But I'm sure there's some effects there. But
Okay, yeah.
yeah, I mean, my theory is that, like, as you can see there, we've got a major storm underway. Although right now I'm seeing all kinds of traffic from outside of the country, so maybe it hasn't quite reached us yet. But anyway, earlier today it was great. I had I was using FT8 and I was talking to China and all over the place. And now all of a sudden it just went into the sewer. So
Interesting.
Yeah, it's been
Okay.
interesting. And I don't know if that's a symptom of cycle 25 ramping up, but it's definitely seemed like it's
Right.
been a lot more volatile lately.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, we've had some really crazy thunderstorms and lightning over the last few days with these monsoons. But solar weather is a whole nother topic in general about weather. So yeah, that's far above my head. But yeah, interesting to hear. WSJ or PSK reporter map is always a good tool to use to see.
Yeah, I live by that thing. It's great.
Yeah, yeah. I think I must have been looking you up on here recently, I guess.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Been a busy boy.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Cool. Yeah, I haven't. I used to do a lot more digital a couple of years ago, but it's been a while since I've had that up and operating, so I need to get back into that.
Yeah, I do FT8 when I'm working because I can remote into my machine and just, it's kind of like playing a slot machine, right? You just hit hit the button and let it go and see what you get.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's crazy how little it takes to really get out there and have people hear you and hear other things. It's crazy with these modes. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if any of you out there played around with Whisper, WSPR, but that's another one that, I mean, on a watt or less, you can get heard all the way around the world. That's a lot of fun to play with, even if you don't have a lot of power or not a great antenna.
Okay. Yeah, definitely seen Whisper in the past. Definitely not used it or tried it or anything. So interesting.
Yeah, I think if you're, especially like when I was a new ham and when I was first playing around with digital, and I just wanted to see how good my antenna was. And so, you can use Whisper and you can use the PSK reporter too, and just throw some CQs out with FT8. But and that'll give you a really good idea of how, if you're getting out and how far you're getting and how strong it is. You can set that map up to show the signal strength that's being received. And so, yeah, it's just a great tool for that kind of stuff.
Cool. Very cool stuff here. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. Anyone else in the group on the chat have anything? Any digital mode talk? Any experience or any propagation or weather reports or anything? Let us know. Their verbiage on here is kind of odd, but it's nice to see. Yeah, the different aspects. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cool because you can see like that image you're showing there kind of shows the reception arc, if you will. I'm running I have a 203 foot end fed random wire that's sitting up about 50 feet up in my trees, and it's pretty amazing. Just a piece of wire can get all over the place. That's the reception one you're showing there. Yeah.
Spine on your QRZ here a little bit. Yeah, cool stuff there. Very cool. Yeah. Yeah. This sets of just immediate report with internet connectivity. Yeah. What's the propagation right now? Well, here it is. So,
yep.
Very cool.
Yeah, like tonight when I looked at the QRZ and I looked at the condition, and so there was a major storm, and then I fired up FT8 and I started seeing stuff from outside of the country. Like I'm still seeing Bulgaria and Spain have really good signal. Like Spain's coming at +5 dB for me. So that tells me that the storm hasn't hit yet, because usually, it shuts down to just USA, like no more than maybe 1,000 miles when you've got a major storm going.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So that is noticeable on the PSK map as well. You can kind of see that visually as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like if you switch that over to the scent signals, and then just do like the last 24 hours or whatever time interval, but 24 hours is fine because that'll show you the most points. But
okay. Yeah. It's just all over. Wow. Yeah, I made it.
Must have been more like 36. When I had, like I mentioned, I had China going. I think, but it was like probably 36 hours ago now. I had China, and I think I hit Taiwan and South Korea. And I mean, it was just cooking that morning. It was great.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty neat. Wow. So how many, I've forgotten at this point, I'm sure I can find it. But how many just total contacts have you made digitally, and any quick stats on that kind of thing?
It's probably, when I first started, I was mostly doing digital until I figured out how to do SSB and stuff. So I've probably got over 2,000 digital contacts, well over 100 countries confirmed.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, cool. Very cool stuff. And you said what is it on your KaraZ page there? What you're running? You said.
Yeah, I've got a 7300 ICOM IC 7300 with a 203 foot random wire antenna.
That's right. Okay.
It just goes from my backyard up. I have a couple of 50-foot trees, so I just shot it up through the trees, and and I also do a lot of summits on the air. So I've been playing around with. I have an ICOM IC 705 that I use for that. So I love the little brother of the 7300.
Yeah. We have a recent member of the club, AE0RH, Chris. He helps to moderate our Discord server. I'm trying to bring up here in the background, but he has some SOTA and POTA spots stuff set up, and is playing around with some single site or SSTV stuff. So definitely a lot of interest in that here within the club. So yeah, very cool.
Yeah, we live in the perfect place for soda and POTA.
Yes, yeah.
Parks on the air.
Yep. Cool. Yeah, I see a few more people here have joined. Appreciate that. Just talking with Mark K0EHR there about digital contacts and talking about solar weather reports and current propagation and all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, welcome to the Elmer session. If anybody has any questions, comments, don't hesitate to put things into the chat or join via the audio.
Yeah, TRP here.
Yeah.
Question for Mark.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Mark, just curious, do you use an external tuner with your long wire antenna or and the radio tuner, or just the tuner in the radio, or how do you do that?
Oh, good question. Nope, I don't have an external tuner. Well, for the 7300, I use the built-in tuner, and then I've got a matching transformer that just sits outside under the eave of my roof, so it's sort of out of the elements a little bit. Now it's a 9-to-1 Unan that does the impedance translation for me. So yeah, with that I can hit literally every band from 160 down to 6 with the tuner. It works great.
Yeah. Oh, okay, great. Thank you very much.
You bet.
Very cool. Very cool. Looks like Fred Hart, A0JK, over in the YouTube chat, youtube.com/Denver Radio Club, mentioned a CME storm has hit. We were just looking at the solar weather report here. And if we look at this, let's see, it's only 5 minutes ago, or my friend mentioned it. So geomagnetic storm. I should know what CME stands for off the top of my head. Coronal mass ejection. Colossal explosions of plasma and magnetic field from the sun's corona. So they often hinder, as we see, the bands. So very interesting stuff to read up there.
Yeah, it's definitely still propagating a little bit. I'm just was received by Spain, but normally it would be a lot better than this. So yeah, it's just starting to hit us now.
Yeah, and as we were speaking about, received PSK reporter map. Put it in the chat here. So we get our space weather from all sorts of, and propagation information from all sorts of information. We get propagation information based upon, space weather reports, as well as all sorts of other information. And here we can see PSK reporter with modes like FT8 and others that have internet-based capabilities, can report who hears what. So looking at activity for the last hour of Mark's transmissions, K0EHR here, and seeing just a few people who have heard him there. So it looks like half a dozen or so, comparing to the last 24 hours of quite a few more. So good confirmation there that it's slowing down a little bit. So.
Yeah, I always take those propagation reports with a grain of salt, though, because like you said, it's telling us that it's terrible, but right now it's still okay. So
right,
I always throw a few CQs out and see what the PSK map looks like.
Exactly. Yep. Like Field Day shows us, people say that the bands are slow or dead, but people come out of the woodwork for that kind of stuff. So let me get this over here. So yeah, put your call out there. Even though these propagation reports might say the band is closed, it's not binary. It's not absolute. So.
Another great tool that I use is called DX Heat. So you go to dxheat.com/DXC. That gives you a hotspot map of the bands, and this is from people that are reporting spots real time. And like if you look at it right now, it'll show you that like 15 meters is still open to South America, and 20 is definitely still hot for North America. You might want to change that pull down. See where it says your continent is? Change that to North
Oh, I
America.
see what you're saying. Yes. Okay.
There you go.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Let me put this one in the chat here too. Oh, that's like another great tool there. I feel like I've seen that, but yeah, I must have missed that.
Yeah, it's
so yeah, that's
very
another good
cool.
tool. Yeah. Interesting. So okay. I guess green means good, right?
Yeah, green and, well, pretty much any color on there is good, but red means hot. That's the best.
Okay. Okay. That's a 20 meters, 15. This is, so these are signals being sent from North America towards these other continents then, right? Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
exactly.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, neat. Appreciate it, Mark. Yeah. Really cool stuff there. All right, well, anyone else on that or anything else, let us know. So yeah, just a great reminder. Yeah, take these solar weather reports with a grain of salt. Again, band closed doesn't mean it's closed. As we can see, there's activity open, and things getting through. So don't let those reports be the reason not to make a contact. So what else? We have another 35 minutes or so here for our Elmer session this evening. Just a basic general Q&A about ham radio, STEM topics in general, for the Denver Radio Club and ham radio in general. So if anybody has anything, let us know. Upcoming meeting at 7 p.m. Introduction to 3D printing, presented by Josh Thomas, N5XRX. So he'll give a great overview for what 3D printing is, and how it can work for us in our hobby or however it may be. So stick around for that. What else here? Quite a few things, I'm sure. I guess I have it on screen here. Hackaday.com. We've talked about, we've very briefly mentioned cyber decks in the past. They are kind of a futuristic type take on custom computers. Let me see if I can bring up some good examples here. But there's just a contest going on. So Hackaday.com 2022 Cyber Deck contest. Get in there now. Just really funky looking machines, really cool looking devices here. That it's kind of fun to play around with. Unfortunately nowadays, with the chip shortage, things become a little bit more expensive. So things are driven by Raspberry Pis or whatever, Arduinos and whatnot. So some things become a little bit more expensive, and sometimes you do things because it's a lot of fun, but the cost is a little up there. But CyberDeck's pretty interesting thing there. Random thing there.
Yeah, Daron, it's Mark again. I read that there's been an ongoing Raspberry Pi shortage.
Yes.
To the point where a lot of retail outlets have just stopped carrying it, like Micro Centers, for example. And they started to catch up, but they're shipping 500,000 units a month, and they still can't catch up with the backlog.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I pasted the link in the chat there from the raspberrypi.com organization, talking about their supply chain shortages and their first ever price increase. It's too bad. I really don't understand what is driving this price or supply chain shortage of so much stuff. I mean, I understand obviously with the pandemic and so much backlog, but it's crazy. It is crazy how many industries and who all, big or small, is being affected by all of this. Yeah. That's too bad. Yeah. So yeah, if you've ever hoarded Raspberry Pis in the past, they are probably a little bit more valuable than they are used to be, but make use of your technology and the equipment that you have, because sometimes you might not be able to get a hold of that equipment. So yeah, it's affecting everyone, NASA to automotive industry. There are stories of companies buying washing machines and other things like that to take out parts, to salvage parts for their own products, things like that. Or I think Tesla is removing certain features because they just don't have the ability to deliver those certain things. So, yeah, I work for an internet service provider, and one of our supply chain shortages, unfortunately, is not only just the equipment and technology, but like a cabinets to hold equipment on the side of a building, just a cabinet made out of metal. You know, it's just all sorts of industries are being affected by this shortage, and it's not going to be over anytime soon. But some of the large manufacturers are thinking in the next few years we might see some break from that. But yep, expect to have your electronics and other equipment, certain equipment, be more expensive. Costs are handed down to us as consumers. So, yeah, strange world we live in.
You know, it's interesting. Some of the equipment manufacturers, the radio manufacturers, don't seem to be having issues. Like ICOM is pretty much always in stock. I'm not sure how they're getting around it. Maybe they make their own chips or something, but yeah, it's interesting.
Well, if my fingers can type here, but no, yeah, no, that's interesting. Yeah, I know I've heard of some. Oh, go ahead. Somebody was in there.
No, I was going to pop in. I actually waited 7.5 weeks for an ICOM 7300. End up going out and buying the Yaesu FTDX10 just for them to actually start coming in again. So their Icon's coming back again.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I thought I've heard some members. I think it's maybe Jerry Vilhauer say that he had ordered something. I can't remember which manufacturer, but was some backlog on that. But yeah, maybe not. Who knows? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I guess depending on maybe the model of equipment or just the luck that they had, they're on semiconductors or whatever it may be. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I base my opinion on usually HRO, if they have it or not. Like
okay.
right now, they've got the 7300 in stock at about every one of their stores except for Milwaukee. So it sounds like they're catching up.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good telltale sign. As if the only brick and mortar store for ham radio has the availability, then that probably is a good sign that things are turning around here for some of this. Yeah, I don't know what sort of chipsets, what sort of semiconductors really are in these, and but I mean, from the back end, I mean, all that there's like 3 or 4, half a dozen really semiconductor manufacturers really in the world anyway. So they're probably going to be going to something that we probably know. But okay, yeah. So yeah, hopefully we'll see more inventory at potentially cheaper costs. But yeah, don't be surprised if equipment that's already quite expensive might get a little bit more expensive in the near future, at least. But always sales going on. There's always inventory from previous stock from previous years and odd models, odd things like that. So always check out Ham Radio Outlet. eham.net we've talked about for their classified section. We have a for sale trading thing on our page. So whether it be through trying to think of the word that I'm trying to use here. Regular sellers, traditional sellers, but also resellers and aftermarket, things like that. A lot of things should be available. So, all right. Anyone else here? We have about 20 people here in the chat here. Appreciate everyone here. If anybody has any comments, questions about ham radio, s.t.e.m, s.t.e.m, anything we've talked about, or anything else you'd like to bring up, let us know. Let's see. arl.org /news. It sounds like somebody wanted to, if anybody wants to get in there, go ahead.
Hey, Daron, this is Jerry.
Hey, Jerry.
You're talking about shortages. Good evening, everybody. I ordered a Flex Radio Maestro a year ago, June, and I still don't have it. And, they keep, I was supposed to get it this June, and then now, I don't know when, but a part of their issue was I guess they couldn't get the computer that they put in it anymore, so they went to a different computer, and I guess it's a problem getting those. But the shortage, for whatever reason, is definitely real. I also have bought a Elecraft K4D, and I'm waiting on it since Hamvention. Probably maybe see at the end of the year, maybe. I think it'd probably be more like the first quarter of 23. So stuff's difficult, that's for sure.
That's what I thought you had mentioned. Right. Okay. Yeah, that's too bad. Yeah, Flex and Elecraft, very premium products, and yeah, unfortunate that that premium of price that still can't deliver at this point in time. So, yeah. Very brief message on their Flex Radio site. May be aware of serious shortages in global supplies of parts and materials currently affecting a great many industries around the world, from automobiles to appliances to building materials. Unfortunately, those shortages, amongst other logistical issues, affect ham radio as well, affecting their brand and customers. And yeah, a lot of things here. Worldwide situation has made keeping up with demand for the products very challenging. Some instances resulted in extensive delays in fulfillment of orders. Length and cost of these delays varies from product to product. So they want to take your money. They want to make revenue, but they even they are still hurting. So yeah, that is too bad. So yeah, those industries, automotive, and NASA, we've spoken about. I feel has had some supply chain shortages, issues, things like that. So yeah, it affects everyone. So it is too bad. All right, we have another 25 minutes here. Talked about propagation, space weather. Some other hobbyist things here, supply chain shortages, how it affects ham radio, different industries. If anybody has any comments on that or anything else, please let us know.
Hey, Jerome, this is Jerry again.
Yeah.
I was reading the mail earlier there, and you were talking about, the bands not being open, or open and just not visible. And I experienced that on must have been Monday. I think I made probably about 18 or 20 CW contacts, and most all of them I think were 15 meters, except one or two on 17. And the band just appeared. You'd see a little signal once in a while, and I've got the K3, so I got the the monitor. you see a little signal once in a while, but for all purposes, it just looked like there's nothing there. But I'd call CQ, and somebody'd come back to me, and it's just I think that's particularly prevalent on 10 meters. You listen to 10, you don't hear anything, but doesn't necessarily mean excuse me, that it's not open.
Exactly.
So the moral of the story is get on there, make some noise, and see what happens.
Exactly. Yep. We talked about solar weather reports that you might see on different clubs' website. Take those with a grain of salt, and just get out there. PSK map, PSK reporter. I dropped some links in the chat there earlier, and as well as some other resources. Just because something says band is closed doesn't mean that's not binary. That's not one or the other. Looking at K0EHR received by other stations, received traffic from Mark here from Denver, Colorado, and we can see a few people out there still receiving Australia. This is on 15 meters, it looks like, FT8. So Australia and Argentina. Bands still are open, even though things say band closed. Don't take that as a face value. So still try to get out there. Yeah. Very cool. Mark also put in here Tamitha Skov. Yeah, the Space Weather Woman. Great YouTube channel and great Twitter. Great explanations for what is going on out there in terms of space weather and how it affects RF propagation, us as ham radio operators, and everyone out there. So really cool stuff there. Yeah, Tamitha Skov.
Yeah, it's good. I should mention Tamitha's got a lot of great like background videos too, if you want to just learn more about some of the terms and how it all works and whatnot. So I definitely check her out.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at the propagation report here, there is a lot of information on here, and most of it is quite foreign to me, quite frankly. But I mean, the obvious things that pop out are the band conditions here, but there's all sorts of little acronyms here and there, and what do those things mean? So yeah, Tamitha Skov, probably great. I'm sure a great resource to get an understanding of how to read these and what they mean and how really it does affect ham radio. So yeah, great suggestion there as well. All right. What else? We have another 20 minutes. Talked about quite a lot here. If anybody has anything they'd like to bring up about what we've spoken about so far, this is Denver Radio Club Elmer session. Just a general Q&A about ham radio, STEM topics. Let us know. All right. 20 minutes, upcoming meeting, 7 p.m., Introduction to 3D Printing, presented by Josh Thomas, N5XRX. They'll go into understanding of the different materials that are used and how to set up and use the 3D printer. And he'll also have his 3D printer running in the background, so we'll be able to see what he is printing. Pretty cool stuff there. Yeah, very exciting. There's a lot that we can do with 3D printing and the hobby. Let's see, Thingiverse, somewhat falling out of favorites with the community, but nevertheless, you can get, as he'll be talking about, STL files. These are the files needed to print different things. For example, you can print different mounts for a Yaesu a head unit or things like that. A lot of people will print, and I'm sure he might speak about it, is Benchy, is kind of a first print to calibrate your printer. And it's just a boat, but it just kind of helps to... I'm sure I should be able to find 1,000 photos of this. just calibrate all the parts of your printer. So a lot of interesting things. Yeah, he'll be talking about a lot of it. It's been around for quite a few years, and it's matured quite a long time now. And yeah, there's a lot of useful things you can do with 3D printers. So yeah, stick around for that.
Wait, why is Thingiverse falling out of favor?
I don't know. I let's see. The Reddit community at least is not. I think their website is just maybe not up to snuff. I guess I have no idea, quite frankly. But on the 3D printing Reddit, I at least don't see. I see some disparaging comments once in a while about Thingiverse at least. So I can't speak of it specifically though.
What's the new alternative that's up and coming?
I haven't 3D printed in a while, quite frankly, so I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know if it's fallen out of favor. I mean, I use it all the time. But
yeah, and I used it as well when I used to. I think there's probably just some...
They completely redid the website and updated it.
Did they? Okay.
It used to be really slow and clunky because they had a lot of data in there and a lot of images. But for the most part, the new version is, as you can see, really fast.
Yeah, I have no problem.
So
Yeah.
that might have been some of the complaints, but it's still pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure there's very few other resources available that have this amount of files available and things like that. So, yeah.
Some of the 3D printer manufacturers are creating their own. Reality as they're starting their own database of that people can donate or post their projects.
Yeah, it's been about 5 years really since I've been in the 3D printing game. So, yeah. I had I have still a Wanhao duplicator. Let's see if I can i3, which is kind of based upon the original Prusa i3 printer. But yeah, quite old. Doesn't have any auto leveling. But I'm sure as Josh will talk about, I got it hooked up to Octoprint, so got some network capabilities at least. So I'll have to dive back into that. It's been quite a long time though. Yeah.
That's what he's going to show. Octoprint.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Cool. Yeah. 3D printing was a. I don't want to call it a fad, but it came from RepRap, I guess the project, it was kind of a self-replicating machine, really, is how 3D printers, and I don't want to steal a thunder here, so it's a really interesting project and really interesting. It still is very, it rears its foot now in rapid prototyping and development, and hobbyist communities, and there's a lot that we can do with these, so don't dismiss them. They've come down in price, and they've a lot more technology is going into them nowadays. So I can't speak to them quite well, but I'm sure Josh will do quite a good job here. So stick around for that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's still going on, but earlier this week, Micro Center had a good deal, which is frequent on the Ender 3 V2. I think for, I want to say, less than $200, and every once in a while they run that deal, but that's a great printer to get started with.
Absolutely. That's what I started with. Actually, that's my main printer. I've got 2 of them, and my Ender is the workhorse.
Yeah, same here. I love that printer.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Cool.
Easy to upgrade too.
Yeah, I've got mine supercharged. I paid more for all the upgrades than I have for the printer itself.
I was thinking the same thing.
Jeez.
Yeah, I think the one downside seems to be on the Ender is it's really, depending on what you want to do with it, it's not good for flexible filament, I don't feel.
You have to get the direct drive for that.
Yeah.
That's what my other printer is direct drive, and it does flex pretty good. Josh does quite a bit of flex stuff. People always ask him to make phone cases and stuff. So.
Yeah, these have definitely come down in price. That's for sure. Yeah.
We also have a new printer in the Ender line that will do 300 degrees C printing, which is fantastic.
So for metallic materials, maybe?
Metallic, yeah, and getting into some of the carbon fiber stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Jeez.
so what's your, I guess, highest end printer that you have?
Me?
Yeah.
My high-end printer?
Yeah, do you have, because I'd say the one thing, you know, that I hear, I've never actually used a Prusa, but the print speed, that's the one thing that I probably, you know, wish that I could get around. I just can't get good speeds and still keep, you know, the kind of quality that I'm looking for. It really starts suffering if it's just got too much backlash.
Yeah. If you're running any of the stock boards, or you can go to what's it called, a riprap board or something like that, or I can't remember the name of it. It has a much better drivers, and you can run it a lot faster. Ender will still do that, but it's like I said, that board costs more than the printer itself. So I don't know if it's worth doing. Yeah, I don't have a Prusa or any of the Cura stuff. Mine's all Ender stuff, or all Creality. I got CR10s and stuff.
Gotcha, thank you. I was trying to figure out, because I tried to replace my Prusa i3, or the Wanhao Duplicator i3 insides with an Arduino, and I can't remember the name of the firmware as well to help with certain things as well. But yeah, interesting. Yeah, you can go from hundreds of dollars to thousands of dollars, it looks like. And I think there's a 3D printer manufacturer here in Colorado. What is it called here? I guess that we could talk about, I guess if you don't have a 3D printer, you can also always go to we can go to Denver Libraries and 3D print for free. That's a huge shout out for them. You can go to a bunch of maker labs. But I thought there was a 3D printer manufacturer up in Northern Colorado, but a lot of options out there, a lot of different price points. So, yeah. And
which one
go ahead.
you were saying was a good one for beginners?
I think it was
Creality Ender is the one I would recommend for beginners.
Which model?
Creality Ender 3.
Okay, found it.
Showing it right there. Yeah. I think I picked mine up for my original one was on a sale at Micro Center. It was an after Thanksgiving sale. I think I paid $90 for it.
Jeez.
Wow, that's a steal.
I know. I didn't know anything about 3D printing, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this, but so I ran down there, and someone told me that's the one to start with, and I'm very glad I did.
I think they get those in by the container load, because sometimes you'll go to Micro Center and they'll have them down every aisle, stacked up 8 tall. So they probably get some pretty good prices on them.
That's the other nice thing about it is you can go on YouTube and just get every kind of demonstration on how to fix anything, how to build anything, how to print anything. It's one of the most popular printers out there.
Very cool. Yeah, and luckily we have a company like Micro Center here that you can just go walk in and look at things and test some things. 3D printing and the whole maker and STEM side of Micro Center is a little bit being pushed back, but it's still there. So utilize it while it's there. Very cool. Yeah, that's a great price point. I might have to do that. So that's 32 bits. Yeah, that's a huge upgrade from what I was using 5 years ago.
And that one has the glass board on it. It also has the quiet drivers, if I remember correct. Yeah, and it has the touchscreen. So that's a
Yeah.
very, very nice printer.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a question on.
Larry.
Yeah,
Hey.
I have a question on. I want to do 3D printing of toy soldiers,
Oh yeah.
and some will be 25 to 28 millimeter, but there'll be smaller ones at 15 millimeter. And how good is the detail, and what kind of material would you use to get good detail?
This would be a great question for Josh, but I'll answer it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can get really fine detail on them, and he's probably going to talk about it. But PLA would work fine. It's a very forgiving material, and it's easy to print. You don't get too much shrinkage, so that's what I would do. I'd start with it. If
Okay.
you want to get really high end precision, you're going to need to go to a resin printer, which I think he'll talk about as well.
Okay.
But that's expensive, and it's also a mess because you have to deal with all that resin.
Gotcha. Is that the one that's poisonous, toxic?
I don't think it is. No, I don't think those are. It prints everything upside down, and it uses an LED projector. It uses the same kind of technology that dentists use for resin in your teeth. So the different amplitudes of the light waves is what solidifies the resin, and then it just builds this thing out of it.
Oh, that's like a dentist's teeth. When
Yeah.
the dentist gives you, rebuilds a tooth or something.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
And then you have to, once it's done, you have to put it in a curing container or curing. I guess I don't know. It's another machine that cures it. That it sits there for a half hour, 45 minutes with ultraviolet light on it, and it makes it really, really hard. If you want to get into some really high, really, really tight tolerances, then that's what you have to do.
Okay, I have a friend who has resin, and with his 3D printer, and he's made some Roman, early Republican Roman soldiers for me, and I can't believe the detail on them. It's just incredible.
It's amazing, absolutely amazing.
And there's a lot of companies now that sell the files for making these toy soldiers, and they sell you the files, and then you just make your own, basically.
Yeah.
So, and that's my oldest hobby. So that's the thing I want to continue doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Those are resin printers there, these SLSs and SLAs.
Yeah, it's kind of, I guess, if that was your main focus, I would say you probably want to just jump in there, because I think you'll be disappointed with filament printers. They just do not. You can print slow, and you just won't get the fine lines that you would get on like a mini or something. Like, especially if you're going to be trying to like paint details and stuff, it'll be hard.
Yeah, I'll be painting the figures when they're done. I had a company that did a sonic digitization of my head, and then they put my head on a Roman soldier. They put my head on a Greek king, and they put my head on a Viking king or jarl, and I painted them up, and they look really good. You can tell it's me. I painted them up, though, as if I was younger than I am now, back when I was middle-aged or something. But you can tell it's me, and I have some friends that did the same thing. They got done and painted, and you can tell it's them. It's kind of interesting to, have you when you're being a general in your army, to have you really be your general in your army.
That's great.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. So where did you get your face scanned at?
It was not my face, it was my whole head.
Really?
Which is the amazing part. It does look like my head. It was at a convention in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, several years back before COVID. And I think the company was like Minuteman Press or something like that. And they were digitizing people's heads that wanted to have figures made, and then you ordered your figures. And I'd like to order some more. I'd like to get there's some more figures I'd like to get. And also they claim they can do them in 15 millimeter, and I have 15 millimeter armies, and I'd like to have myself printed in 15, although I doubt the detail will be as good. But I think this must have been resin that they used. The detail is just incredible. I mean, my nose, my lips, eyebrows, everything. It's really close.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Yep. That's a whole nother topic of conversation, I'm sure, is 3D imaging and making replications, digital replications of 3D physical real world objects that then you can manipulate and print out and do all sorts of things with. So that's nuts. Yeah. Time has flown by here. We have just a minute or so until our meeting starts. I don't know if Josh is in the chat and wants to test screen sharing or anything.
Yep, I just joined in. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So let me go ahead and try grabbing the screen and see if it works.
Let me stop sharing here. All right, go ahead.
All right. Let's go there. How's that?
Perfect. Yeah, we see the unfull screens side of PowerPoint there. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And full screen.
Full screen now. Perfect. Awesome.
Perfect. It works. Well, I don't know if you want
All
to
right.
get started or we want to give it a few minutes for everyone to get in.
Literally just another 30 seconds or so. Yeah, just a probably great time to take a very quick restroom break if needed. But yeah, this is Drone K1DBC. Appreciate everyone being here. Otherwise, we're going to start the meeting here in just a minute.
And Josh, we'll do a little business thing in front, and then we'll throw it to you.
Okay. I'll go ahead and shut this down.
Perfect. All right, thanks here on YouTube. I'm going to drop, and you're going to start to see the meeting here in just a minute.